Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for March 7th through 11th, 2022. Well, we have a feeling of like a sigh of relief energy with Venus and Mars moving over into Aquarius. That happened yesterday. And this is the end of 3 whole months of our personal planets in conjunction to Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto in Capricorn just kind of has a heavy face the music, face reality, kind of energy to it. And so it's kind of a feeling of like, like just being able to maybe see the bigger picture and breathe a little bit here with this air energy. It's a really powerful combination because we still have the sun very close to Jupiter. Amazing Sun-Jupiter conjunction over this weekend. Did you feel it? Wow. Really beautiful spiritual energies available if you could be quiet and let these come in. And this is the huge energy that's happening right now. We've got this juxtaposition of the darkest dark and the lightest light. And it's showing us how important we've been talking about this concept of our attention and where we're putting it and where we're leaking out our energy or feeding energies that we don't want to amplify. Because Jupiter is like is a crystal. It's like this big amplification. It's about promise and hope in the future and new horizons. And with the sun in that conjunction in Pisces, it's about new spiritual horizons. It's about, with the sun, it has to do with our identity. Who are we? And so with Venus and Mars moving over into Aquarius, and Mars and Mercury having completed that retrograde that went from Aquarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, we're kind of this identity crisis or this new identity, this rebirth of who we really are that's available right now has everything to do with our role in the Aquarian Age, right? It's like, and it's kind of like after this whole 3-month retrograde energy and 2 years of very strange inability to move forward on any level in our lives, it feels like now it's like there's an energy of new direction and an energy of momentum, because we have all planets direct until the end of April when Pluto turns. So it's asking us, but it's kind of like, it's almost like we're in shock and we're like, oh, there's momentum. I'm not even feeling it because I'm too busy, like, trying to navigate these crazy times. And so there is clarity coming here if we can, again, be quiet and receive. There's I can feel SuperNova Souls being gently invited into a new direction. And it's interesting because we've had this couple of years of absolute chaos and inability to move forward, and 3 months of retrograde with our personal planets with Pluto. It's kind of like we have to readjust and be like, wait, what is momentum even? Because I'm not even feeling it. I think I'm just gonna, it just feels like we were in quicksand, and just kind of getting swallowed up by our reality. And now is time when we are being called or invited to make a leap in new directions. Now, that coming on the heels of this couple of years of total confusion is confusing and scary, right? The momentum is like, it's like, well, what do I do with it? And can I even trust it? And I feel like I'm so stuck in this place right now from all of this earth grounded facing reality, ego death stuff. I don't even know if I can take one step, much less a leap in a new direction. And if you are beings, a lot of supernova souls are having little opportunities and like that they haven't had, and kind of like, oh, I can kind of feel maybe this could be a way I could go. But it feels uncertain and it's hard for us to trust because it's been so weird. And it's bringing up anxiety. The more you're having opportunities or new energies or new direction coming, the more anxiety supernova souls are feeling. It's like triggering, it's like, it's in a way, it's easier to be stuck because you don't have to think about what you're going to do or where you're going to go or how you want to use your energy. And this is exactly, it feels like this is the message that's coming through around, because when intense transits are happening, you don't feel it necessarily or understand it. You feel it, but you don't necessarily understand it until after it's over. And so now we're kind of sorting through the rubble of this ego death Pluto explosion. And so it's like everything in our life is up for review. And the pressure of like, oh, now it's time to leap forward and I can't quite trust anything yet. And it's very disconcerting. And at the same time, we have this huge bloom of Pisces energy. With the sun and Jupiter and Neptune all in Pisces, the moon has now moved off of that new moon energy. So now is when we're coming out and getting clarity. Now, Mercury, though, this weekend or early next week, I'm sorry, this weekend will be on the 11th, is moving into Pisces. And so then we'll have Mercury, the sun, Jupiter, and Neptune. So we're not done with this Pisces bloom. And also we have the sun coming up to Neptune next week. And so this is going to be a huge bloom of what we've been feeling in the Piscean energy and of like a lot of emotions. And it's kind of like, it's almost like we can feel the energy shifting, but that, while you're going through very difficult times, like over this last couple of years for most people, you just kind of get through it and you don't feel, kind of like the retrograde energy, you don't feel it until you have a break from it. And then you're like, oh my God, what just happened to me? So we're recovering. We have to understand that this time on the planet for supernova souls has been excruciatingly painful on a psychic level because we were replaying the trauma and persecution energies of the Piscean age. But it's all about giving us an opportunity to completely close those chapters. And this is exactly the messages coming through around what we need to do in our daily life right now. This weird time where what in the heck is going on in the world? And it's so weird. Like there's a war, but there's pictures, they're using pictures from video games and cardboard guns. I mean, it's so weird, but that is showing us and reminding us what physics has shown us for a long time, quantum physics, that our reality is based on what we think we're seeing. And we know these concepts, but we're being faced right now with a very powerful opportunity and very strange, scary movie, but to see beyond that movie and be like, that, so only what you think you see is real. What? So, and it's really hard because it's frustrating for a lot of people who are awake and aware, and the way people are just in total denial, even though things are coming out in mainstream. It's like blinders, don't want to know. I'm not gonna, just, it's like the truth or concepts of reality, like actual reality, not the weird movie, can't make it through the mind control and the programming. And people are just so traumatized. They're just going to cling to whatever they've got in their conceptual reality. So we don't want to put our head in the sand and completely ignore and deny the truth, right? We want to, supernova souls, this is, you have to acknowledge and validate, if the distress, the psychic distress of these times. First of all, you're working on the astral plane, like trying to clear out all this garbage and not even realizing you're doing it. And who knows what's happening while we're sleeping, very strange energies. And, but we are, the lies and deception that we're dealing with in our world right now, and then being an intuitive soul, supernova souls, you are so special because you have striven, no matter what you've had to go through for all of your lifetimes in this evolution, to be authentic, to be real, to be true, This is why we've had to go through our narcissist empath relationships so that we could get, clear these contractual arrangements and energies of where we've been feeding and giving our energy to energies to things that do not deserve and should never have access to our power, right? And but to acknowledge and validate and kind of soothe yourself through this cognitive dissonance time, because we've got the collective masses clinging to their little made up reality. And then we've got people who can see through that, like SuperNova Souls, who have spent lifetimes trying to be authentic. And there's just layers and layers and layers upon deception and lies in our world. And it's very damaging and insulting to you and who you've been and who you are. And yet you made it through. And you've got this kernel of this soul connection and this authenticity and this truth. And yeah, we had to go away and hide, and we had to cut off all these ties to where people just acting so strange and weird and be isolated and all that. But you know what? You didn't give up your truth. Yeah, you decided maybe not to go, speak on a megaphone and get yourself beat up by the crazies, zombies, but you have held to your truth through all of this time. And it's interesting because, with this North Node in Taurus and being so activated with Uranus in Taurus, this wealth revolution, this is part of the aspect of the wealth that we have. True authenticity. Nobody can take it from you. That is soul strength. So, can we claim and honor this authenticity and be like, all right, the world's got to play out some weird movie, but I'm going to be right here. And this Sun Jupiter has been a beautiful expansion energy of the truth of who we are as spiritual beings. There is some support finally to be authentic and to claim and to own your bigger spiritual self. Part of this Sun Jupiter energy, I can just feel SuperNova Souls incarnating on a level that you haven't before. But think about it. Why are you not fully incarnated? Perhaps because of these past life traumas. So when you're going to come into your body, and this is what we need to do, ascension isn't out there. Ascension is through claiming back the light, the DNA receptors, the power of our God code DNA, and embodying our body. Everything right now is seeking to sever the soul from the body, telling us that's our power. And SuperNova Souls, through everything you've gone through, you never gave it up. You got the power. No wonder everybody wants it. We're definitely entering into a weird predatory time where you can feel like you go out into the world and you're like, oh, I'm doing my meditation. I'm feeling good. I'm going to own it. I'm going to go to nature. I'm going to soak up the vibe. And then you get some weird verbal attack, because people are, it's the same old frickin' story. And your light's turning on and their subconscious fear is activated, And it's like your light, our light, this is where we need to get to, is always when we've gotten really close to spiritual evolution, that's when the control energies have pulled us back. And who's been here guiding, on the edge of spiritual evolution? You guys. So you've always been the ones that have been targeted and held back. But the thing is like we're so close to that threshold of claiming and owning, and your light, that soul essence, you embodying that DNA fully and completely as the light that you are, that is its own protection. The light body is really the only way. It's like we're in a race between the artificial neural networks trying to be created to make a controllable humanity and light body that can protect us from all of the weird shit that's going on right now. It's pushing us to activate into who we really are. And that's where the Sun Jupiter is so beautiful. And it's like, oh, I'm getting a glimpse, a memory. I kind of remember what it's like to feel spiritually supported and like I've got guidance and connection to people who, it's like we've gotten so far away from this. such an agenda to keep us apart and keep us alone and keep us invalidated and keep us from knowing our power. It's the whole key to everything. It's the only way this evolution has been held back. And that's why this Pluto energy has been so powerful, because Pluto represents our fear of our own power. And where we, in Capricorn, it's about where we gave it away to outside structures, which we all do just by existing. You have a birth certificate, you got a social security number, you have been traded as a commodity. And how about we recognize that power and take it back? And then it's like, well, that sounds good, but how in the heck do we do it when we're just kind of trying to get through this crazy world, you know? And it comes back to the power of our attention and where we're going to put it. And so right now, what I'm noticing is like, there's all these tentacly energies working through the people around us who are unconscious, working through media, working through our technology devices, working through vibration, energetic, technological grid. And it all wants us to be worried, scared, traumatized, in fear and anxiety. And we have to understand, okay, so the energies that have controlled humanity's evolution, the goal, the reason why they don't want us to evolve is because they can't exist in those higher frequencies. And those higher frequencies, which is the Aquarian Age, which is spiritual ascension, which is Christ consciousness, that's autonomy. The big message coming through of the gift of this Capricorn explosion of Pluto and Capricorn on our personal planets, the ego death, is like, we are, in order to go into the Aquarian Age, this is also our light body too, because it's like you're containing that. You can't activate into your light body and leak it out the way we've been leaking out our power and not realizing it. And so the Age of Aquarius and our spiritual ascension is about claiming sovereignty and autonomy, that we are our own spiritual universe because we are human souls in a human body, the highest authority there is, because we have direct access to that life force, to God, to source right inside of us, which is exactly what this whole medical tyranny situation is trying to keep us from accessing. So it's so key. And so there's a gift of this Capricorn breakdown and ego death. And because Capricorn represents, the Pluto and Capricorn represents, like we said, those contractual arrangements where you said, and we all had to make them. We were all bullied and coerced and manipulated into making contracts where we said, oh, I don't think I can handle my power because, I don't want to really create an Atlantean catastrophe. I'm came to help people, not hurt people. And they're like, okay, hand it over to us. Yeah, we'll keep it for you, And it's like, so in a way, we almost had to make those contracts to be a part of this experience. So don't beat yourself up around that, right? It's like, but now it's kind of like, hey, time to reevaluate this contract. Because I didn't read the fine print, And they say, oh, well, you signed it and now you're screwed, right? In a contractual energy. It's like, no. We have to go back to our contractual law of the land, of our God-given rights by existing and claim that shit back, So much of this is about our sovereignty and autonomy. And so how do we exercise that? How do we claim it, And it all comes back to our attention and where we're putting our energy, and understanding that if you are having an emotional response based on some story, something out there, that is exactly what they want. That is how they feed on us. It's called luge. And when we're really upset and traumatized, and especially the collective, then that's when they get their juice. So wait a minute. That means our emotions are juice. And we're all so suppressed, and we're scared of our emotions. And so that's powerful because we've got this like, all right, massive Pluto ego death, contractual arrangement, reevaluation around our power, and then Venus and Mars together facing up with that and working together, collaborating, and then moving over into Aquarius. And showing us that the way out of this too is also coming out of duality thinking, understanding that our emotions, our mind has been so controlled. And then it makes you go, though, this is the trap, because you go, oh, they're feeding on our emotions. They want an emotional response. I'm going to shut down and go stoic. So a lot of us have done this to protect ourselves. But those emotions are also how we get to our higher chakras and the pineal gland. And so we've got to be able to put that energy where we want it to be. And this is the key that's happening right now over the next couple of months with this all planets direct and a Pisces explosion. We've like closing the chapters of that Piscean age, but also opening up to dreaming the dream we want to dream by putting our attention and our energy, not denial, not suppression, not, there's a lot of escapism energy that can come with Pisces and the strong emotions. And then it's like, oh, I just need to and we don't want to do that because we want to be fully present in these times. So next week is when we're going to feel Mercury join in Pisces. And it's kind of like Mercury had that whole rearranging of thinking around the Aquarian age, and now going to go face the dregs of what's left of the traumas that we haven't resolved in our being. And that's perfect timing because we just had an incarnation. We're bringing in our bigger self, and like that bigger self wasn't there because of the traumas. And so they're just coming up and they're being triggered. But it's about closing these chapters and about saying, oh, trauma, drama, fear, anxiety, that's what they want me to feel. That's what they're programming me to feel, but I've got the love of God within me and I feel it in every cell. Our cells are luminous. The DNA has light receptors. And this is the energy of the light and dark juxtaposition of this Pisces explosion, and the light to put our attention back there, back on the spiritual hope and truth and love and Christ consciousness and the future, right? We really need to it's a time finally that we're out of retrograde and we have the nodes in a new signs. And it's like, gotta kind of let ourselves look beyond the movie and feel into that more optimal life that's trying to land for us. It's gently inviting us in right now, and also brings anxiety, like we talked about. But the changes and the new directions that are coming with that Vesta activation. So Vesta, asteroid goddess of the sacred fire, representing the sacred fire of passion and purpose and sacred work, our spiritual and our creative passion together. And so that was a huge activation. And it's almost like with Pluto and Mars and Venus, it's like, oh, we're collaborating, we're owning and validating our spiritual path and purpose. We've had that all along. You had this spiritual purpose before you ever set foot on this planet. And no one can take that from you. And you haven't even really gotten started yet. So can we bring our attention back to what that feels like, and create this co-creation? Because the Pisces energy is really good with the flow and the co-creation and working outside of 3D linear time of like feeling into your actions and your decisions. And it's like it's this co-creation. It's a completely different way of navigating in the world. And it's so beautiful, but it's also kind of scary at first because you don't, it's like we don't have that ego of like our psychological mind doesn't have that like linear, okay, now I'm going to do this. And then I made a plan and I got a list, and if you got a list and a plan and you're going to stick to it, that's beautiful on some level too, right? But to stay focused, but then the magic can't come in. And there's so much of this magic available, but it's unknown and it's unexpected. And we've got to kind of navigate in a whole different way. So it's interesting because it's like, okay, time to take a leap in a new direction, but you got to kind of totally learn how to navigate and co-create. And you don't know who you are because you just landed home as a brand new spiritual baby. And so you got to meet yourself as who you are. You got to tend to your basic needs in this 3D reality. And radical self-care is required right now in these changes to be able to keep ourselves healthy, keep ourselves vital, keep ourselves in that connection to the God code. But it's all about the shifts and changes in our lives that are more in alignment with our true spiritual path and purpose, and the people we're supposed to be working with, and the locations that are calling to us. So most supernova souls haven't felt really like, oh, I'm in the right place, or I'm with the right people, or it's like this disconnect. Maybe a lot of them living places where there's a karmic situation in the group, the people around you that they maybe were a part of, chastising you, exiling you, or persecuting you. And it's like, oh, that's a nice community, ready for constant attack, So there's big changes that want to come into our lives. And it has to do with our passion, work, and purpose. It's our role in the Aquarian Age. And it's about collaboration, uncovering our gifts and skills as spiritual beings. So it's a whole new way of navigating, but know that everything wants to distract us right now from this, from spiritual awakening or spiritual ascension. And so as you have things and you're exercising your autonomy and your sovereignty and your right to your own energy and your own creation power, and you're ready to move into a new direction and a new life. So bringing your attention back to that and to what's real and right here, and kind of maybe being like, stopping yourself before you get pulled into situations and be like, is source or God or my higher self is this really warrant a reaction or a response from me? And it's like we're being asked to have, and it's coming as a gift from this Pluto thing of like a backbone and a feeling of strength in ourself and boundaries, and being like, not my problem, not my circus, not my monkeys. And it's like, and it feels like denial. It feels selfish. And of course, if everyone around you is like, there's a war, and it's like, okay, there's so much we don't understand about what's really going on. And the world's trying to elicit an emotional response from you. And you want to put your emotions towards the light of the new day that's dawning, and your role in this, and how beautiful you are and radiant in your being if you could see yourself from the other side of the veil. And that you have arrived at this moment in time where, the Capricorn energy is like, it's serious, but it is time to get serious about who you really are, and use that energy to bring your attention back to who you really are, your bigger spiritual purpose, way out beyond the scary movie that's being created for us right now. And take a moment to say, wait a minute, does this warrant a response, from me? Or can I be the observer? Not put your head in the sand, not denial, not escapism, not running away, but being the eyes and ears of God consciousness. I see it. And it's hard because all of the things in this external world that we put our faith in, I'm sure you've had this experience where you've had like people you follow or organizations and truth speakers and people, you're getting your information, and then all of a sudden everything gets completely wonky and you can't trust anything out there. It's because we're learning to self-navigate again. And so can you be like, not my movie. I'm going to be right here, you know, under the Bodhi tree, and I'll observe it, but I'm not going to engage, because, and this is how, when you have these attacking energies that come out of nowhere and it just wants us to get, so it's like the narcissist energies. When you're in that narcissist relationship, all they want is to bring you down to their level, and they will poke at you and manipulate you and act horrible and crazy till you start acting horrible and crazy. And then their goal has been met, and then they can feed on your power. So wait a minute, those narcissist relationships were perfect preparation for this very strange transition we're in right now. Yeah, just like everything you've gone through, SuperNova Soul, are you ready to receive the wealth of who you are, of your radiance, of your being? Nobody can take this from you. And so this is kind of the energy of this time. It's just like our power is in our attention and in our emotional energies, and we don't want to cut it off or pretend it's not there. But can we bring consciousness? Can we own it? Can we say, in my sovereign world, I'm putting this emotional energy, it's like, yeah, I got pulled in. Now I'm going to put it back on the dream and the light and the truth that you've been living and why you're here from before you set foot on this planet. Validate yourself. Own it, live it, breathe it. This is the Sun Jupiter. It's such a beautiful combination, of the Sun Jupiter coming on the heels of that ego death experience. And now it's like, whoa, new direction. Finally, there's a feeling that it could be possible for your life to rearrange. It's trying to rearrange into your role and your sacred passion and purpose in the new age. And you are here to lead the way. And it is a little bit of anxious. And there is those old traumas coming up because you were numb to them. It's like if you're in an accident or something, a lot of times you'll get atrophy in the muscles, like as they're trying to heal. And it's like, so then you're not in so much pain necessarily. But then when you go and work it and start moving it again and mobility, then you're going to feel a lot of pain again, right? And that's kind of what's going on in our psyche as we try to resolve and heal what has kept us from being fully incarnate in our body, like the traumas from the past. And so we need this. And very powerful next week as the sun comes off that Jupiter conjunction and into a Neptune conjunction. And we'll start feeling this later in the week. And that's exact on the 13th. And then next month, we're going to be feeling Jupiter catch up to Neptune. Very powerful with all that we've been talking about. April is beautiful and strange and weird. A turning point, it feels like, because we will have the new zodiac as far as Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. So the sun moves into Aries on the 20th this year of March. And we'll start to feel that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. And also, Pluto makes it to 28 degrees in April, as far at 28 degrees Capricorn. At 28 degrees Capricorn, you can see into the next sign, kind of, so it's like, whoa, Pluto's not going to be in Capricorn forever. I know it's felt like that, right? So we're coming to the end of this. It's like we could see a new horizon. And Jupiter, Neptune, Pisces conjunction is going to be powerful with the bloom of a lot of what we talked about today. So April should be pretty interesting. And so look out for, there's a full moon on the 18th of March in Virgo. That'll be a great opportunity to really own this rebirth. And probably the activation will happen the day before, on Thursday, the 17th. And then the spring equinox is on the 20th. And so we'll do a soul group session, a group intuitive session for the equinox to really be present with that shift of energies. Venus and Mars stay close. They stay exact through the 9th. So just this next couple of days, really enjoy this. Just get the gift of this collaboration, working across the lines, coming out of duality thinking, the possibilities of the future as Mercury or Venus and Mars sit together in that beautiful conjunction at the very beginning of Aquarius, and seeing the new vision and the Jupiter Sun. So the next couple of days, we still got these influences, and try to grab a hold of the vision of something new and different, and dreaming into that new dream as a way to set your course for the new direction that's trying to come into your life. So use the time wisely. Very powerful moments, and I'm so glad we're here together. SuperNova Souls, you're amazing. You made it. We're here, and keep coming back to that soul memory of who you really are and what you're really here for. That's exactly the luminous light that wants to live in your DNA and in every cell of your being right now, as you claim your sovereign autonomy in your own universe and your own system, your own reality, by bringing your attention back to that. So thank you so much, SuperNova Souls. So much love to you. I appreciate you being here on the planet with us at this time. And I look forward to the exciting chapters that lie ahead as we move over into the dream and create co-creation together. So I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.